It is draft week. What's this week like for you? What type of decisions are still being made? And I imagine this is probably one of the busier weeks of your calendar year.
It is. The month of July is extremely busy. I learned that last year. Now with the draft pushed back to mid-July, coupled with the the trade deadline right behind it, it really makes for a tight schedule there and a busy month of July. So I just stepped out of the draft room. We have had all of our scouts in town. We've been in the war room for the last almost couple of weeks. We took a short break for the 4th of July, but a lot of good work taking place, and still have a lot of decisions left to make, and just try to be as prepared as possible for Sunday.
Chris, I'd say the most important situation is the food. Whatever food you guys are going to have is the most important for the draft. Get that one squared away first, then everything kind of takes care of itself after that.
Yeah, it's a good call, Bronis.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
Our group has been very well fed.
Okay, I figured you would.
Catering,
I figured you would.
The group has been very well fed. I have not overseen the menu this year.
Yeah.
So, I'll leave that to others.
I'll tell you what, a good menu means a good draft. Trust me, I had it happen to me in Philadelphia with the Eagles. We had 4 of the 8 picks we all made the Pro Bowl, but it was crepes. It was those crepes we had in the morning. Oh yeah, Mrs. Lurie set the tone with the crepes, so that was big for us.
That's good to know. Maybe Sunday morning I'll bring in a box of crepes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris.
That'll be good luck for us.
If it helps you, I'll walk the crepes over to you myself. You know, I'll do whatever I can. I'll do whatever I can to help you draft. Okay, but yeah, you mentioned
we need it.
Yeah, when you talk about with the scouts and stuff, and you mentioned this is your second campaign with this. Were you really more of an observer last year, and then now it's kind of like, okay, I see what this does. I see how this works. Was it? Am I way off base here with that?
No, you're 100% accurate. I knew last year I would have been crazy to come into the first draft and with the organization and start really directing things. I think last year was a great opportunity for me to sit back, observe, really understand what the process has been, and evaluate what it should be in my mind moving forward, to make suggestions. I think this year we've changed some things. We have one of our assistant general managers, Josh Boyd, has done a tremendous job working with Kip Fagg, our scouting director, in really setting up a very thorough process for our scouts and for the room to follow. And it's been some just tremendous discussion. I've been very impressed. I'd say last year as well, I was primarily focused on our first overall pick. It was second last year, or the second overall pick. This year we have the third pick. And while I've spent as much time on the third pick this year as I did last, I've also been able to really concentrate on some of the later rounds as well. So certainly more equipped for it this year, but really our scouting group has done a tremendous job, and the process has been very, very thorough and well laid out thus far.
It's Rangers general manager Chris Young with us here in the GBag Nation. Chris, would you like to see the ability to trade picks like other leagues?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's great for the game. I think it's very entertaining. I think it adds an element of fan interest and really puts no limits on organizations to think creatively and to find different ways to improve year in, year out. So I fully support that. I think it'd be great for the game.
Chris, this might be a tough question, but, there was coming into the season, and this is not really about the major league club, but really what's going on with your minor league and the pitching and stuff like that. And I was just curious that, how important, though, is that the direction or the managerial stuff or the coaching that these pitchers, because it sounds like to me that there has been a little bit of a struggle. How do the evaluations come when you have pitchers that struggle? Is it something that you have to evaluate the coaches as well in those situations? Is that part of it, or is it something that just the pitchers have got to get through this?
Well, I think there's a lot of different elements that come into play, and certainly I think I'll start with just in general, I think a good organization is constantly self-evaluating every aspect, whether it's the personnel, the coaching staff, the front office, pitching philosophies, keeping up with different trends in the game and adapting as necessary. So I think constant self-evaluation is very, very important on all levels. That said, certainly every year you're going to have players who struggle and you're going to have players who are doing well. We've had a number of pitchers doing very, very well this year, which has been very exciting. I think we read about the ones who have struggled a little bit, and to some degree that's natural. Not every season is going to be your best season. We all know that, and so I think as we see these guys who are struggling, how are we addressing it? What are we doing to identify the cause of the struggle? And then how are we moving forward to make sure that they avoid that or correct the mistakes that are being made? And I think it's unique to each individual, but overall, I think we've done some things very, very well. I think our high A affiliate Hickory threw a no-hitter a few nights ago. Yeah. One of our top picks from last year. I think our 6th or 7th round draft pick, Larson Kindred, started that game. He's had a phenomenal season thus far. It's been really fun watching him, and there are some good things happening on the pitching side, but I think certainly we're never satisfied. Until we are known for our pitching, we're not going to be satisfied.
Yeah, see, because I'm like the unrealistic Ranger fan that wants you to be the Atlanta Braves, that draft guys, find guys, develop guys, and then they become all-stars. That's what I want. Sure. Am I unrealistic to think about things like that as a fan?
Your expectations are similar to mine, and I would say that I probably have a confidence level that it exceeds yours, but there is no reason that we cannot be known as an organization that develops very good pitching. Like I said, there's some good things happening, but we're continuing to evaluate and try to improve every way we can. But I'm excited about where we are. We've had some turnover in our pitching department, and we have some different philosophies since I've come in, and I'm very confident that we'll continue to get to where we need to be a top flight organization in terms of pitching development.
How gratifying is it for you, Chris, when you see a guy like Martin Perez, get the All-Star vote?
It's great. I think anytime we have players representing the Texas Rangers in a showcase game like that, it's great for the game. It's great for baseball. And for Ranger fans, our fans deserve to see our players representing our organization in a game like that. I'm disappointed that we didn't have more than one. That said, I think Martin is unbelievably well-deserving. I think that he's had a tremendous season. He deserves all the credit. He's come in phenomenal shape. He's been unbelievably motivated. He's been a great teammate, a great leader in the clubhouse. The performance speaks for itself, and I'm very excited for a great second half for him.
Chris, if I could circle back to the draft, and please correct me if I'm wrong about this, but it seems to be a very high school heavy within the top of the first round. Is that, am I wrong about that, or am I?
No, you're absolutely right. I think the prep talent in this year's draft at the top is very good. I think there are a few college players who are still we're considering in a group of probably 5 or 6 at this point. So, but it is a very good high school heavy class at the top. There's some very good talent there. I think all the names that are out there are very well alive on our board. We obviously don't know what's going to happen in front of us with Baltimore and Arizona picking ahead of us. That said, I think that we are extremely confident we're going to have our option of taking a very good player with a 3rd overall pick, and we just need to be as prepared as possible for that. But the high school class is very good.
Okay, and my question on this is because I only scouted college players, right, when I was in the NFL, but right. I couldn't imagine having to read for you a high school player. I mean, how is that something? Are there triggers that you listen for when a scout reads a high school player as opposed to a college player? Is there different triggers that you listen for, words or things like that kind of get you in and out on a player?
I wouldn't necessarily say different triggers in terms of the specific words I listen for. I think that more importantly, with all players, it's understanding what is going to allow them to reach their full potential. That's first and foremost. We want to make sure that when we draft any player that we're confident that the player is going to do everything possible to reach their full potential. Secondly, that we're going to provide an environment for them to reach that potential and understanding what their separators are in terms of their skills that are going to allow them to be successful at this level. And I think that's the biggest thing is understanding, okay, how does this person project? But they have to have some tools, some element of their game that's a separator tool that we can cling to and know that this is never going away. This is who they are. This is a skill set that is unique and it is different. and they're only going to get better. We have the tools, the resources within our organization to enhance this, and then these other areas that where maybe they're not as adept or they're not as refined yet, that we have a track record of improving those areas as well. I think it's a full combination of that. I wouldn't say there's one specific word or trigger words that I cling to. If anything, it's probably on the makeup side, understanding that we're getting a player who is going to do everything they can to maximize their ability.
It's Rangers general manager Chris Young with us here on The Fan. Now, Chris, how does not having a second or a third round pick impact sort of the decision making in round one, and then of course thereafter as well?
Well, look, I'd say, going back to last offseason, we understood as part of the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, that when we stepped out and signed Marcus and Corey, we were going to lose our second and third round draft picks. Those picks are very valuable, especially where we're picking this year. Those were picks at the top of each round. Essentially, it's a late first rounder or a late second rounder in some ways when you look at the way the draft is structured. So it was a heavy price to pay to sign two cornerstone players to play middle infield for us. But we knew that. That was a strategic decision, I think, in part because we have confidence in our scouting group. I think our scouting group has done very, very well in finding later round draft picks who become very solid major league players. And what it did by having that clarity early in the offseason is it allowed our scouting group to go out and really scout heavily players who will be targets from the fourth round on. I think we're as well prepared for those rounds as we could possibly be. I think that by eliminating our second and third picks, our scouts have been focused on those rounds. We obviously have spent a ton of time at the top of the draft. We're going to have to see how it plays out on Sunday, see who's available, who's going to be on the board going into Monday's second round, and then be creative as we go there and pretty fluid as well as the board sort of comes together and players fall off the board. We'll be flexible, but have our list lined up and get the best possible players we can.
Yeah, Chris, let me tell you something you need to do. You walk over, you take Simeon's tag and Seager's tag, and when you get to your pick in the second round, throw that tag on that board. I guarantee you, Simeon and Seager will be better than any player that's taken in the second and third round. Okay, just remind everybody in that room that's what you went and got. Okay, and that will get the scouts' attention right there.
I like that a lot. And our scouting group, I know that it's hard on them. They spend their heart and soul.
It's all good.
And
you guys did fine. Just go get those tags and throw them in those spots, and then you just sit down and go along your merry way. You know what I'm saying? We did all right, boys. Don't worry about us. We're fine right now.
I like that a lot.
That's a veteran move right there. And it's pretty good timing as Seager is the AL Player of the Week, and you had the Simeon Seager back-to-back over the weekend. That had to feel good, huh?
I thought it was pretty cool. It's the first time we've seen Marcus and Corey do that this year. I think it's a sign of what's to come. I think it's we haven't seen these two guys hot at the same time. They've both in their own right done well at certain times through the season. I think as we move into the second half, we're really excited about these two getting going together. They both have started to really turn it on, and it's been fun to watch. I thought it was really cool for our fans to see those back-to-back homers the other day. And I look forward to hopefully a lot more of that.
Amen. Likewise. Well, Chris, this has been a real treat for us as always, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the week. Get that hay in the barn. Let's go draft a superstar.
Guys, thanks so much, and let me know when you have those crepes ready.
You got it, man. I'll get them to you.